Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Tonight on Our News, 500 government hires and promotions under review. Hundreds of students missing virtual classes. The Shell management deal in limbo. And a legend will hit the SLS stage on one unforgettable night. Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, more than 500 hirings and promotions are under review by the Davis cabinet, according to the Minister of State for the Public Service, who says officials want to ensure those hires and promotions are based on merit. Jasmine Brown reports.
We're not doing anything peculiar. In any new administration, we would assess what has taken place, especially what has taken place in the last 6 to 8 weeks. So we have placed all pending promotions and hirings on hold. I am making an assessment in the shortest possible time.
The State Minister for Public Service says officials are working hard to ensure that review is completed in a reasonable amount of time.
Obviously, persons are waiting. It's not our intention to disenfranchise. We have to make sure that policy is being conformed to. We have to make sure that these promotions are being issued on merit. And of course, we also want to I continue to say that we want to consider that we make sure that our personnel is not disenfranchised by a long wait.
On September 13th, just days before the 2021 general election, then Public Service Minister Renzo Roll revealed the government had officially made 1,200 workers from its 52-week unemployment program permanent and pensionable. During a Free National Movement rally in Abaco, he said 85 people from the island were approved with letters of employment readied. Glover Roll says so far the process is going smoothly and assessments are being made in consultation with other ministries.
So it's not only going to be a process of ensuring that the backlog is handled, but we're going to look for future, to make the process smoother for the future, because it's systemic that there's a backlog. So we need to see the processes that we're going to put in place that will eliminate the backlog for future. People put in the work in the public service, so we want to make sure that we're duly compensating them and providing the rewards that are necessary.
Now, the State Minister says the goal is to streamline the public service and ensure it's efficient and effective. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, just a month into the new school year, Education Director Marcellus Taylor says some students are not logging on to virtual classes. Berthany McDermott tells us why.
Education Director Marcellus Taylor revealing that 30% of students are still not attending virtual classes. He said while officials believe all students are registered on the platform, all of them aren't logging in.
We have about 70% of our students engaged on this platform. Those students who are not engaged may not be engaged for a number of reasons. Chiefly among them might be that those students don't have digital access, meaning they may not have internet capability, meaning that they may not have a device, meaning that they may not have electricity.
The education director added that the department has done its best to ensure every student has a device. The ministry also provided students with Wi-Fi boxes. However, Taylor said some parents have not collected the devices.
Some people even haven't collected devices, right? And some others, even though we say you can come and get a packet, some haven't come and collected the packet.
In her address to educators on World Teachers Day, Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin acknowledged that many have not been able to gain access to the learning platform. She stressed the need to bridge the gap to ensure no child is left behind.
The seriousness of this cannot be underestimated, and it is therefore critical that strategies be deployed as soon as feasible to bridge gaps and to ensure that no child is left behind. At the heart of these strategies and at the heart of education recovery are our teachers, who will require our support and goodwill as they undertake this most important task.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Meanwhile, the government will move quickly to introduce a new food distribution program now that the National Food Distribution Task Force has ended, according to Minister of Social Services Obi Wolshcombe. He tells reporters the Davis administration plans to cut spending while ensuring thousands of Bahamians who need assistance get it.
We're putting together a program that would be systemic and that nobody will be left out.
Wilshcombe says social services is expected to inherit 4,000 people from the feeding program.
We're going to have to find ways to do it. The reality is that if Bahamians are hurting, we're not going to leave anybody behind. We're going to go after taking care of the Bahamian people. We've got to cut some costs some places. In fact, we've discovered where we're renting buildings that we're not even into the buildings in social services. We've been renting since 2018 facilities that's costing millions of dollars, but we're not in the buildings.
The task force headed by Susan Larson was launched at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic to provide widespread food assistance to 57,000 households. As of this week, the program was helping 17,000 families. Though it was expected to end in August 2020, it was extended several times with $54 million already spent.
At the end, I think it's whatever they did at the time was not, in my view, fully discussed to the extent that we were delivering what the Bahamian people really required. And did you have to spend that much, or could you have considered another approach to it? But maybe in the moments of desperation, moments of trying to find a plan, they came up with that plan. But that's okay. I don't mind the criticism. All I know is we're going to provide the Bahamian people with the needs, and we're going to meet their demands.
Well, following nearly 3 years of negotiations, the future of the management deal between Bahamas Power and Light and Shell North America remains in limbo. Works and Utilities Minister Alfred Sears tells reporters outside Cabinet today that more meetings must be held, but Cabinet still needs more information before a decision can be made on the way forward.
We will be having some meetings, possibly this Friday, with the Ministry of Finance, so that we can get the benefit of the advice of the Ministry of Finance in terms of how to proceed. So that is where we are at this point.
In the agreement, Shell North America would purchase BPL's power production facilities and manage the production of power on New Providence, while BPL would be left to manage the transmission and distribution of power.
The urgency of the matter has been put to the Cabinet, I am informed, by the board and Dr. Jonathan Moxey. The Cabinet did not grant the approval.
Shifting gears now, preparations underway for the opening of Parliament. As Gillian Gray tells us, though steeped in tradition, tomorrow's opening will look different than previous events.
When it was over, the Queen came gratefully onto the balcony in its slight cooling breeze to greet the crowds. Another Parliament had been opened.
It's a tradition that stems back to 1729 when the first Parliament in the Bahamas was created. Fast forward to 2021 and the landscape will look much different than it did back then. Tomorrow at Bahama, the executive, legislative and judiciary will all gather with residents to begin the new Parliament session.
This was where they came to open Parliament. As a matter of fact, the throne that you see behind me, I've seen Queen Elizabeth and Princess Anne read the speech from the throne from there. And it wasn't until after the elections in 1992 that we came up with, Hubert Ingram came up with Government in the Sunshine.
The historical significance of this room cannot be understated. From this very chair, Queen Elizabeth would have read the speech from the throne many years ago. That's now done by the Governor General. Wednesday's opening of Parliament is going to be a big change as well, as the iconic Senate, House of Assembly in Rawson Square won't be the venue for the grand affair.
It's happening, first of all, because of the COVID protocols. You physically cannot get 39 members in the House of Assembly chamber with physical distancing. We decided to move down there, I should say the government decided to move down there so that they can create a chamber for the House of Assembly down there and a chamber for the House, for the Senate down there.
Clerk of Parliament David Forbes described the opening as a mix of modern undertakings and an event steeped in our colonial history, from changing the structure of the Senate to constructing a new building for Parliament. Forbes, who has worked for Parliament since 1978 when he started as a messenger, says he wants to see the institution grow and flourish. One of the things he thinks can happen within the next few years is the separation of powers. He thinks that in order for the Parliament to truly flourish, it must be independent of the executive.
I am confident that this government is going to see the light where the other one didn't, where the Parliament needs to have independence. It need not be governed by the executive. That's an adulterous relationship. How are you going to hold the executive to account?
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, pleasant conditions around the country today. Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with the latest.
Thanks, Christina. Welcome, everybody, for your first look at weather on this Tuesday evening. Nice conditions outside our studios. Temperatures are in the mid-80s, 84 degrees outside our studios. With just a few clouds, your winds out of the northeast at 7 knots, and your feels-like temperature, factoring in the relative humidity, mid to upper 80s. Satellite view, dry air mass across the northwest Bahamas, keeping us cloud-free, but the central and southeast Bahamas, disorganized showers and thunderstorms with a surface trough that we are watching. National Hurricane Center not really giving much of a chance for the formation over the next couple of days as it drifts towards the north. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the Punch owner passes away and the tourism sector's slow recovery. Find out more after this.
Want me help you? Help you? Help you like you help Terry.
That's your bread. Hey, listen. We get the root trophy bread.
Who bread?
My bread. But yeah, we get what?
What you want me to do, bro? You want me to pick you over my little girl? You never cause nothing but problems for people your whole friggin' life.
Ivan Johnson, the owner of the Punch tabloid, died unexpectedly yesterday after a short illness. Johnson started the local tabloid in 1990 after returning to the Bahamas, having worked in London and Australia at numerous posts. Johnson received the Bahamas Press Club's Pioneer Award for newspaper publication in 2018. Johnson's sisters, Felicity, Janet, and Jill, say as they mourn, they are thankful for Johnson's rich legacy. They added the outpouring of sympathy as a testament to Johnson's jovial, friendly, kind spirit, and his fearlessness in reporting the story will leave a void in the field of journalism. In other news, as the country records 2 more COVID deaths, health experts are warning that the vast majority of COVID-19 related deaths in the country are still people who have not been vaccinated against the virus. This as those with compromised immune systems are encouraged to take extra precautions. Giorgio Bain tells us more.
20 COVID-19 related deaths were recorded over the weekend as the country marked a significant milestone of recording more than 100,000 fully vaccinated Bahamians and residents. There have been more than 550 COVID-related deaths in the country since the start of the pandemic. And according to the infectious disease expert, the vast majority of people who have died of COVID in country were not vaccinated.
95% of persons were unvaccinated. Between 3 and 4% of people were partially vaccinated. And in the month of September, after September 8th, we saw a few persons, and that accounted for about 1% of persons that were fully vaccinated who did indeed get COVID and pass away.
Dr. Forbes says about 4 fully vaccinated people have died of COVID-19, and those individuals were immunocompromised.
Now, those persons that were fully vaccinated that passed, they did have a condition that made their immune system weak. They were diabetic, had high blood pressure, had a history of cancer, or obesity was also an independent risk for dying if you get COVID. So that being said, that if you are having a condition that makes your immune system weak, even if you're fully vaccinated, you must take additional precautions.
According to the United States Center of Disease Control, doctors are still looking as to how well vaccines protect people with compromised immune systems and how long the COVID-19 vaccine actually protects people. Dr. Forbes reminds Bahamians that individuals are not considered fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after their one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine or 2 weeks after their second dose of any other COVID-19 vaccine. Reporting for our News, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Well, monthly tourism figures are showing signs of a slow recovery in the sector, according to a recent report by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The central bank's monthly economic and financial developments report for August notes that total visitor arrivals by first port of entry grew to 183,270 in July 2021, an uptick from the 23,820 in July 2020. Air arrivals also grew to 133,811 from 15,355 in the previous year. The recent growth is still short of the pre-pandemic levels, representing 76% of arrivals in 2019. However, the central bank says tourism continues to face headwinds owing to the ongoing globally imposed travel restrictions related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Family Islands have also experienced growth, according to the central bank report, with traffic growing to 52,835, up from 14,067 in 2020. The report says tourism's improvement reflects seasonal strengthening and widespread vaccination campaigns locally and internationally. Officers on Grand Bahama had to use the jaws of life to rescue a driver pinned inside his white Nissan Note after it overturned off East Sunrise Highway Monday evening. According to police, the driver was traveling east on the highway when he lost control and ran into a bush where his vehicle flipped onto its roof. The front passenger was ejected from the vehicle. Both occupants were taken to hospital for medical assistance. When our news returns, get a legendary taste of SLS and NBA stars see preseason action. The details when our news returns.
You want me to help you? Help you? Help you like you help Terry.
That's your bread. Hey, listen. We get the root off your bread.
Who bread? My bread.
But yeah, we get
what? What you want me to do, bro? You want me to pick you over my little girl? You never cause nothing but problems for people your whole friggin' life?
This is our news. Welcome back. In exactly 1 month, multi-platinum artist and Grammy Award winner John Legend will take the stage for a night to remember at SLS Hotel. Baha Mar officials gave our Kyle Joaquin a taste of SLS.
Ain't this what you came for? Don't you wish you came more?
For one night only, Grammy Award winner John Legend will headline a night of luxury, opulence, and grandeur outdoors at the SLS at Baha Mar. Legend, a member of the elite EGOT Club, has the rare distinction of winning all 4 major entertainment awards, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony.
We will have a massive event tent, about 100 feet long, and in this tent we will have 10 stations, of course, Katsuya, Karna, Filia, Umami Burger, and so on. Our wonderful Bahamian station. We have a cocktail station in there as well.
SLS promises a decadent night of culinary experiences at the hands of the award-winning chefs at Katsuya, Clio, Filia, and all the unmatched food and cocktail brands.
If you look over to the Surf Rider, so the Surf Rider will be completely covered, and on top of it, on the wooden platform, that will actually be the stage for John Legend's performance.
With private cabanas inclusive of your own butler, a sky lounge, floating bar with champagne, SLS VP and General Manager Axel Gasser says Baja Bay will transform into something you will have to see to believe.
In the Pirates Plunge Pool, this will be turned into the Rosé Lounge. So the main entertainment zone is in this area.
The big event is set for Friday, November 5th. Only 1,000 tickets are available, and 60% have already been sold out.
Tickets are available at SLS Bahamar and of course bahamar.com. So just follow it, click on the link. You have different options, different experiences that you can purchase, ranging from a silver up to a platinum, which the platinum tickets actually give you access to our skybox.
With tastes of SLS happening at all of the hotel brands around the world, Gasser said the Bahamas will be the one to beat. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, Sports Minister Mario Boleg hinting at big plans for Grand Bahama. Marcellus Hall has that and more tonight in sports.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall, new Minister of Sports, the Honorable Mario Boleg, now firmly entrenched in his position, looking now to take steps towards making himself most effective. Part of that is checking out the local facilities. He did so yesterday in Grand Bahama. Let's take a look. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Boleg, arriving in the nation's second city yesterday to meet staff members and view the proposed office space and tour the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Now, according to Boleg, his plan is to make Grand Bahama a vibrant sports tourist attraction.
Grand Bahama should be a hub where we want to have major high-class facilities that will bring tourist attraction here for the sporting world here in Grand Bahama. And that is why I wanted to meet here with the Minister of Grand Bahama, Minister Moxie, to ensure that we partnership together and get some PPPs going and make Grand Bahama vibrant again, this economy, through sports and through the youth and even through culture.
Buddy Hield and the Kings versus DeAndre Ayton and the Suns in preseason action last night. Ayton would play 12 minutes, finished with 8 points, 3 rebounds, and a block. Buddy, meanwhile, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the Kings. They get the win, 117-106. Meanwhile, newest member of the NBA fraternity, Kai Jones, seeing his first preseason play last night as well. He scored 4 points to go along with 4 rebounds, played 7 minutes. Hornets win over the OKC Thunder, 113-97. On to your Monday Night Football action. Last night, Las Vegas Raiders, one of the only unbeaten teams left, taking on the LA Chargers. Something would have to give here, and it would be the Chargers as they get the win 28-14. Great win by Justin Herbert as he and the Chargers able to improve their record to 3-1. They are now first in the AFC West. Taking a look at the stats for Herbert, he finished up with a pretty good day on the afternoon. Finished up 222 yards, 3 touchdowns, only sacked twice on the day. They continue to remain one of the front runners as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. Derek Carr, 196, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But again, they come up on the losing end of things, falling to 3-1. They are 4th in their conference. And that's your look at sports for you here on this Tuesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. Up next, inside the country's newest studio. Stay with us.
You want me to help you? Help you? Help you like you help Terry.
That's your bread. Hey, listen. We get the root trophy bread.
Who bread? My bread. But yeah, we get what? What you want me to do, bro? You want me to pick you over my little girl? You never cause nothing but problems for people your whole friggin' life.
Welcome back to our news. Wet weather expected during the opening of Parliament. Greg is back with the extended outlook.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome back, everybody, for your second look at weather. Tropics quiet at this time right now. We don't have really much in terms of any significant systems out there. Sam is gone. Victor is gone. A couple of tropical waves cross the tropical belt, and those are not showing any signs of organization at this time. But closer to home, we're watching that surface trough with some disorganized showers and thunderstorms across our area. Drifting towards the north, National Hurricane Center not really giving this much of a chance of any formation over the next couple of days, as we have some very strong upper level winds sharing the tops of those thunderstorms off. Should merge with the frontal boundary by the end of the week, and that will probably be the last we hear of this system. Beaching and boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While in the central and southeast Bahamas, a caution flag is posted for you guys. Southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, seas will run 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Sunday. We could see a couple of spotty showers over the next couple of days as that system drifts towards the north. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Boasting the largest cyclorama in the country, newly launched Frame Studios is looking to help creatives produce some of their best work. The convertible rental space, which is technology-driven, is the brainchild of two industry leaders. Jillian Gray has that.
One word that sums up the studio is premium.
From their 24-foot psych wall to their technology-driven office, Sherrod Lightbourne and Emmanuel Pettyholm say their dream is to give creatives a space to conjure up the unimaginable.
Just think internationally, because a lot of time we think that we can't do it. And sometimes it's because we don't have what they have, obviously. But as soon as you put anything in a Bahamian hand, they just explode.
So it's more of a all-encompassing, full-scale, premium luxury studio.
The space is designed to accommodate podcasters, videographers, photographers, and bloggers. Lightbourne and Pettyholm started out with little prospects of a space and no money. However, they finally found an investor in Kendonique Williams, who is their third partner. For Pettyholm, this dream is 5 years in the making.
When the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, we have nothing else to lose, right? So it was time to just do it.
When you step into the space, a Wi-Fi barcode greets you. Then your eye is immediately taken to the cyclorama wall.
We'll start off next year, at the end of each month, show people what you can do, because sometimes you have to get people wheels turning. So the psych wall is definitely the number one thing. I told my partner, if we have anything in the studio, it has to be a psych wall.
So whether your creativity takes you behind a desktop, in front of a camera, or behind a microphone, Frame Studio promises that now you can create more. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for the opening of Parliament. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.